Greetings and salutations again, everybody. Welcome back into another One Piece spoiler video. So, I'm gonna be honest. The full spoilers this time around are very short. So if you watched the brief spoiler video, there might not be too much of a point in watching this video. I just wanted to say that outright. We're gonna be going over a lot of repeated information, so don't view this video as important. Also, if you have not read the full spoiler for yourself yet, make sure to do so in the pinned comment. I'll be typing out piece by piece as well as sourcing out to where I found these spoilers in the first place. As usual, major shoutouts to Redon-Mugiwara_23 over on Twitter, as well as PewPiece, because that is where all of this information actually comes from. So, getting right into it, we learn about the machine that Lilith has created to save Elbaph, or at least to save the school and the library from the fire situation. That is right, Jinbei. We're sorry. We do not need your services today. Lilith takes out the machine, and it is called the Omni Drain Converter, or ODC for short. It is a machine that can use the energy that is existing in abundance everywhere in Elbaph. That is absurd. So from the sound of it, right, based off of the name Omni Drain Converter, you can point it at water and boom, that turns into a fuel source. You point it at fire, boom, that is now a fuel source. This machine sounds kind of cracked. I do wonder if we could take it outside of Elbaph though, because just like how these falls work here in Elbaph, I wonder if it's only specific to this island. We'll see. So, Lilith goes on and she says that she is surprised that Franky, despite having a pacifista level body, has never tried something greater than cola as a fuel source. And when she said this, I was like, wait, you're right. You know, we've seen Franky use alternative fuel sources like V8, tomato juice, and tea, but he's never tried to go above cola. So, looks like we're getting a Franky buff, guys. We cut over. We see that Nami is ordering Zeus to put out the school flames, but that is when Killingham shows up and he orders a nightmare monster, which is a lindworm, which is like this giant serpentine dragon thing, to swallow Zeus. Lilith and Franky then arrive. Lilith then uses the ODC, the Omni Drain Converter, to suck out all the heat energy from the school and library, which then makes it freeze. Pretty crazy, you know? So not only does it suck out the energy out of a substance, but it looks like it sucks so much out that it turns something into the opposite of itself. Yeah, I don't know, brother. This Vegapunk technology is crazy. Lilith then turns the heat she converted into energy into super heavy cola and then gives it to Franky. Franky's finally getting the buff, brother. He's finally getting that egghead upgrade. Then we see that Killingham orders the lindworm to just destroy the school, right? If it's not going to burn down, just crush it. And while he's doing this, he turns over to Jinbei, who I'm assuming was eyeing the fire. Like, if Lilith and Franky didn't show up, maybe Jinbei was going to do something too, which is hilarious. Killingham, of course, insults Jinbei, saying that he doesn't want to breathe the same air as him, that he's a dirty fishman, all pretty true. But that is when Sanji appears in front of Killingham and says that he's gonna punish him for insulting his Nakama. Then, in an epic double page, we get the trifecta. Jinbei uses Vagabond Drill. Franky uses a brand new super heavy cola ability called Strong Dexter, which I'm assuming is an upgrade from Strong Right, to defeat the Lindworm Nightmare Monster, and they save Zeus in the process. And in that same page, we see that Sanji uses Concasse and crushes Killingham's head, which destroys his bubble. Guys, we're in for a ride, man. I am curious, right? Since we are starting the Sanji versus Killingham match right here, you know we have to ask the $1 million question. But come next chapter, come the chapter after that, will Sanji unlock Conqueror's Haki to beat Killingham for good? Or will this be an endless battle where Sanji finds another way around regeneration? Ideally, I just hope Sanji gets Conqueror's Haki. I'm sorry, guys, but I just feel like it makes the most sense, right? Luffy has it, Zoro has it, Sanji being a part of the monster trio, in my opinion, should get it too. And then plus, his Roger Pirate parallel, Scott Gabon, has Conqueror's Haki. So I would love it if Sanji got some sort of upgrade, and if he didn't get that, maybe it's just something adjacent to it, something that's unique to him. But either way, Sanji versus Killingham is officially kicking off. Granted, I think a lot of people still want Zoro versus Killingham and then Sanji versus Sommers. Thematically, I think that makes more sense. But we do have to remember that just because Sanji is starting this fight with Killingham, that doesn't mean that this is his main opponent. We've seen before in previous arcs that the person you fight in the beginning isn't exactly the person you fight in the end. So for all we know, the whole field gets thrown for a loop, and then Killingham does end up in front of Zoro and Sanji with Sommers, but we'll see. That's more like a semantical thing, right? As long as Sanji gets a God Knight fight and Zoro gets a God Knight fight, I'm a happy camper. Who they fight doesn't really matter. It's just one of those things where, like, a lot of people thought that we'd get one thing, and now we're kind of getting the opposite. It's like, oh, you order T-bone? Well, here's a ribeye. It's like, well, they're both good. Not exactly what I wanted, though, right? So, we now cut over to Dory and Brogy. They regain consciousness for a short bit. They say goodbye to each other, and we see that they lop each other's heads off. But that is when, just like how they got flipped into Domi Reversi Giants, they flip yet again once they die, and we see that they return to their normal selves. And not just that, but apparently, according to the brief and full spoilers, Dory and Brogy fully recover. You heard that right. They got a full heal after they got undomified. And I don't mind it. But here's the thing. What was up with Rocks D Xebec in the Davy clan then? Because Rocks was undomified, right? Roger and Garp killed him and brought him back to normal. But why didn't he get fully healed? Like, imagine that, dude. Garp and Roger huffing and puffing on the ground. They just won. Garland shows up with Sommers and Maffy. Dude, if Rocks was fully healed, I think he'd win, man. You know, hey, I'm a Garland Glazer, but this is Rocks D Xebec. If he also got fully healed, he shouldn't have lost. He shouldn't have died. So I really am wondering what's up with this. Maybe when we get the full chapter, we'll get more nuance to this whole situation and why it didn't exactly work on Rocks D Xebec. Or maybe the full heal isn't really a full heal. I don't know. Granted, with Rocks, we also didn't see him like flip into the ground. So maybe that's another requirement that Rocks just didn't fulfill? I don't know. So, double page now, final spread of the chapter. We see Zoro, Dory, Brogy, Harden, and everybody's favorite giant Stanson all standing together, ready to fight the other Domi Reversied giants. And the dialogue here is so funny. Stanson says, hey, dying once would undo their demonic transformation. Brogy says, yep, even if they become a ruined corpse, once they're flipped over, they are good as new. Zoro says, so we could just go for it then, right? Harden says, no need to hold back. It appears that if we inflict enough damage to kill them, they do turn back to normal. Dory then ends off by saying, slicing out their heads and eating and digging out their hearts. Ha ha ha. The chapter then ends with all of them grinning malevolently and saying, we can't do that. LOL. Yeah, Dory took it too far, right? Yeah, you know, beat them until they turn back to normal. We have to kill them. I guess we have to. Dory's like, let's eat them too. Let's dig out the hearts, man. Yeah, limb from limb. Hilarious stuff, brother. But yeah, that is it for today, guys. Again, like I said, these spoilers pretty much just reiterate the brief spoilers. There's not too much additional details here, but I do think it is fun just revisiting this the next day and just talking more about One Piece, but yeah, let me know your thoughts down below. I still think this is going to be a phenomenal chapter. Of course, it doesn't sound like we have any Luffy, Loki, or Emu, or even Brook, which is a little bit unfortunate. Also, no mentions of Usopp as well. Gotta remember, this is still Usopp's arc to an extent, right? We're still waiting for one good Usopp moment. Maybe he's heading towards Emu. I don't know about that one. Catch y'all later. Thanks for watching the video all the way into the end. Appreciate it as per usual. You guys stay safe and peace out, brothers. Also, break next week. Make sure to drop your comments on this chapter down below. And in the next week or couple of days, we'll come back and read through the comment section. So if you want your comment read, make sure to drop it down there. But yeah, peace out, guys.